crowd behind them, they'll feel nothing but the maximum would be suitable on their own turf in this great stadium in Mexico City. Well, the Czechia side sees 3 changes to the one that was held by South Africa a week ago. Debuts in this global tournament for David Dudera and Denis Visinski, while Lukas Červ also comes in the last throw of the dice in the competition for the Czechs. Having already progressed, it was expected Mexico would rest a few with an eye on the round of 32, and that's exactly what they've done. 5 changes. Cesar, the centre-back Montes, returns off the back of his opening night dismissal. There's tournament debuts for Mateo Garcia at left-back and Guillermo Martinez Ayala, who replaces Raul Jimenez up top. Mora and Reyes also come in for the Mexicans, so it can take you through the 11s in full. Mati Kovar in goal for the Czechs. Tomas Holeš, Robin Hranac and Ladislav Krejčí, the captain, who of course opened the scoring for the Czechs in this global competition on the opening night. Kufal and Dodera will run the flanks from wing back. Sedlik and Červ in the midfield, with Visinski and Šulc supporting Klosek up top for the Czechs, who simply must get a result this evening to stand any chance of progressing in the global competition. As for the Mexicans, who have changed from their green strip to all white with the green and red trims this evening, Rengel in goal for them, Sanchez, Reyes, Montes and Garcia, Mora, Alvarez and Romo, and then Alvarado and Quiñones are flanking Guillermo Martinez Ayala up top for the Mexicans. Well, it's the first time these two have met here since the old Czechoslovakia went all the way to the final in '62. A long time ago, but a reminder that football can throw up surprises when you least expect them. So here we are then, as it's Mexico who get us underway. They're cruising into the knockouts. Czechia, though, fighting to keep the lights on in this tournament. And Czechia, with Mexico making a few changes in Mexico City, Czechia will travel to this almighty stadium with a bit more hope than most do. So it's Mexico in their changed all-white strip, who have the ball at the back, just looking to dominate the early possession statistics. It's a heavy touch into the midfield, though, that's picked up by Michael Sedlik early on, who scored the Czechs' early goal against South Africa before the late equaliser. Only his second goal on the international stage for Michael Sedlik. And it was the fastest the Czechs had scored at an international competition since Jan Koller's early goal against the USA back in 2006, the last time the Czech Republic qualified for this global tournament. And of course they went out in the group stages on that occasion 20 years ago. They do not want to face the same fate here. A minute played in Mexico City and the ball is whipped up towards Kufal on the right hand side, brought down by Pavel Šulc, who was the unfortunate man who conceded that very unlucky penalty late on against South Africa that has made this game all the more perilous for the Czech Republic. A defeat to South Korea followed up by a draw to South Africa means that they simply must get a result of some kind. 3 points, of course, the ideal, but a point would certainly just keep their head above water in that third place table and just give them something of a hope of going into the round of 32. Mexico, though, don't need to worry about that. They're already there, the first team to qualify in this particular international tournament, meaning they've now qualified for the knockouts in 8 of their last 9 international tournaments, of course missing out 4 years ago back in Qatar 22 as the ball's played up to Quiñones. He can't hold it inside Czech territory and he's robbed off it by Vladimir Kufal, who of course is renowned for playing his best football at Hoffenheim after a really impressive spell at West Ham United in the Premier League. It's worked back to the Czechia back line. Hues across to Kufal, just with a deft flick down the line looking for Pavel Šulc, but he's dispossessed by the marauding centre-back Israel Reyes for Mexico. One of the 5 changes made by their head coach Javier Ogrier ahead of this one, as Quiñones races away for the first time in the game down the left-hand side. Faced by Kufal and Julián. She's got support arriving through Garcia. Into the penalty area it goes, and the periphery of it now is Alvarado, just waiting for support to arrive. Quiñones makes the burst beyond him, about 25 yards from goal. Mexico just with the ball at their feet. They've been repelled even further by the Czechs, and they'll look for an avenue now down the right-hand side. Here they come again down the right, Mexico, but they're halted in their path over there by some illicit Czech defending, and the ball is out of play for a throw-in. The Mexicans get on with it quickly though, as the ball's played out to the far side for Sanchez, who will deliver into the penalty area. It's deep, headed out by Kufal, who can deal with it pretty admirably, and then Israel Reyes will go chasing over after it and play the ball to Cesar Montes, who's returns to the starting 11 after serving his suspension following his dismissal on the opening night in what was a chaotic game here against South Africa. 3 red cards, 2 goals, as Kufal takes a tumble under pressure from Louis Romo, and just as another word in his ear as Kufal hit the deck. And there's another tangle of legs between Kufal and this time Mateo Garcia, one of the 2 debutants of the international tournament for Mexico. But Kufal certainly going toe-to-toe with the youngster early on down this near side, the Czech right. Well, they currently rank 9th out of 12 third-place teams, the Czech Republic, but teams like DR Congo still to play, Uzbekistan and Senegal still to play, Iraq around them. They really need points, and really need 3 points more than the 1 to really put themselves in the driving seat of making the knockout stages, the Czech Republic. And well, there's a point of contention here because the referee, the Argentinian Yael Falcon Perez, didn't stop the game when clearly Ladislav Krejčí, the Czech captain, had received a bump on the head after he went up for an aerial challenge. Now obviously the protocol here at this tournament is to stop the game when a player has gone down with a head injury. Ladislav Krejčí went down immediately clutching the side of his face. The Czech players were incensed that the referee didn't stop the game right away. In the end, it's David Dudera who has to pop the ball out of play so that his teammate and captain can receive some medical treatment. And in the end, it's a sporting throw-in from Mexico as they go back to the Czech Republic back line and offer the Czechs back possession. Krejčí sends it up the left-hand side. That's well dealt with by Jorge Sanchez. His second start on the bounce at right back. A reliable figure of real speed and aggression in this tournament at full-back for Mexico. Down that right-hand side, but the Czech Republic have a throw, and it's taken up to their striker, Adam Klosek. He's forced to throw in though off of the retreating Jorge Sanchez. And the Czech Republic have just made their way up the field down the left-hand side. They're going to throw in midway inside Mexico territory. It's going to be taken by David Dudera, one of the 2 debutants for the Czech Republic this evening. It was just had to be dealt with well in his own box by Louis Romo as he had players surrounding him. It wasn't done so, and Mexico have put themselves under a bit of pressure because they've lost the ball deep, but then Quiñones can put his boot through it downfield, and Haranach can meet the ball with his forehead on the halfway line, and the Czech Republic will have some safe possession on their own back line. So they've led twice, the Czech Republic, and twice haven't been able to retain that lead, but Kufal's combined well with Such down the right-hand side. His cross deflection to the penalty area and steered just wide. Big chance, falls the way of Denis Visinti, but he can't hit the target from 12 yards out. Great work by Kufal and Such down the right-hand side. The latter's cross was deflected into the penalty area, fell to the legs of Denis Visinti, who has the first real opportunity of the game, but he's just steered his effort wide of the right-hand post. A massive chance, the tournament debutant. An unused substitute against South Africa and South Korea. My, he had the chance to be a Czech hero then, 7.5 minutes into the contest. Well, it's a chance that he can't capitalise on. And it goes down as the big first chance of the game for the Czechs. Forward it goes again by the Czech Republic. They've started this encounter with confidence, despite the swagger that Mexico undoubtedly will come into this with, having already got themselves into the round of 32. In fact, Mexico and Spain, the only teams not to concede so far at this tournament. It's been a display of real defensive solidity. They've only lost 2 of the last 23 internationals, have Mexico. Those defeats coming in friendlies against Paraguay and Colombia back in late 2025. So certainly continuing that theme of steel and solidity in this international tournament on their home soil, and how they'll be eager to impress, especially here at their national stadium. A national stadium that has seen so many iconic moments in world football down the years. Meanwhile though, Ladislav Krejčí, who's the first manager since 2006 for the Czech Republic to bring them to an international tournament, has been in charge for 6 months. This coming at the end of a 42-year career in Czech club football. And of course, on the opening night for the Czech Republic, he was the oldest manager to manage at an international tournament, but he was quickly succeeded by Dick Advocat, 74 years of age, at 78, beg your pardon, for Curacao. Danger here for Mexico as they work into the penalty area on the left-hand side. It stood back up into the 18-yard box, headed away by Krejčí, brought down on the edge of the box by the Mexicans, but it's too heavy-handed in doing so by Edson Alvarez. He's conceded the free kick, and the danger subsides for the Czech Republic. They were caught short there at the back just for a moment as the ball was rolled in field towards Luis Romo, who was the spare man on the edge of the penalty area. He couldn't get his shot away. It was worked out to this near side for Martinez Ayala, who stood it up into the 18-yard box. And in the end, though, the Mexicans couldn't make the most of the opportunity, and Edson Alvarez, the West Ham United man, is penalised, and the free kick given to the Czech Republic. They've lost it though, deep have the Czechs. Worked in field to Mora. Poked out to those that far side. This is Alvarado on that left, but wicked delivery towards the far post. The Czechs though dealt with it well, despite Guillermo Martinez Ayala going down in the penalty area. He wants a decision of some kind, a big wag of the finger by the Argentinian referee. A fellow South American waves away any appeals from Guillermo Martinez under pressure from Hranac. After a swift VAR check, there's nothing doing. So 0-0 as we tick over 10 minutes. The Czech Republic, credit to them, have made something of a swashbuckling start. It's not ironic though, it's not against the curve. They have scored twice in their opening 2 games, the Czech Republic, just haven't been able to hold on to those leads. But here, they've got a throw-in deep inside Mexican territory. 3 goals have been scored from throw-ins at this international tournament. The Czech Republic have scored 2 of them. So Kufal looking to follow suit as he launches into the 6-yard box. Mexican head gets there first, and it falls to a Czech man on the edge of the box. But Michal Sadalik can't keep his effort down and on target. And in the end, it's a wild swipe that's sliced over and wide, and not handsome at all by the man who's already registered in this international tournament. The Slavia Prague man. This Czech Republic side littered with Slavia Prague sides, serial winners back in the Czech domestic league. Well, the Czechs have had varied success in this particular tournament. They've reached finals twice in the country's various forms, the last coming in 1962 and they lost to Brazil. Before that, 1934, losing to Italy, of course, as the formerly named Czechoslovakia. In their most recent iteration though, this their first qualification since 2006, and they actually beat this year's hosts, the USA, back in 2006 in Germany. by 3-1, with a certain Tomáš Rosický getting a brace. If you know your Czech Republic heritage. Here's Mexico though with the ball on the halfway line. Just looking for an opening. Hasn't quite been the authoritative and confident play that we've seen from the Mexicans throughout this tournament in their opening 2 games to South Africa and South Korea. Although critics will say that 2 of their goals have come from mistakes from the opposing team. The South Korean goalkeeper, of course, just presenting the ball to Louis Romo, who finished from the edge of the penalty area. Meanwhile, South Africa making a mess of things and allowing Julián Quiñones to score the opening goal for Mexico of this international tournament. As they come forward again down the left-hand side, low ball into the penalty area is dealt with by Ladislav Krejčí, who's just seemed to be everywhere for the Czechs, not only tonight but in this international tournament so far. Of course, he scored their first goal of the tournament in that eventual defeat to the South Korea a fortnight ago. Relegated with Wolves in what was his first experience of Premier League football on loan at Molineux this season. He's expected to join the now Championship side for around £26 million this summer, the Czech Republic captain. The Czechs have worked the throw-in well, though. It's fired towards goal from about 25 yards from Denis Visinský, who's had 2 sights at goal now. This one a bit further away than his previous attempt. But it was a well-worked throw-in into the big man Klosek. His header found Krasinski about 25 yards from goal. He's opted to take the effort on first time on the half volley. In the end, it was sliced well wide. But that's 2 chances now, though, for Denis Visinský on what is his international tournament debut in this particular global competition. Here's Lucas Červ. He only started the last game for the Czechs against South Africa. That disappointing concession of a late penalty, putting them in this perilous position where they simply must win really and take all 3 points to stand a real chance of qualification. But they've started here with a real purpose, the Czechs. You can see that they understand the magnitude of the fixture, that's for sure. Here's Ladislav Krejčí on his own back line. The Mexicans have offered very little. Yeah, but as I was saying, two of the 3 Mexican goals they've scored in this tournament presented to them as gifts. One from South Korea, one from South Africa, and of course the exception to the rule in that is that impressive header from Raúl Jiménez, who has had to make way for Guillermo Martinez this evening, so doesn't face his new Wolves teammates Ladislav Krejčí from the start. Raúl Jiménez, of course, after completing that sensational return to Wolverhampton Wanderers after 3 years in London with Fulham. The Czech Republic have worked this well, though, down the left-hand side. This is Dudera crossing position from deep with his right foot. The Mexicans didn't deal with it appropriately, but just as Cesar Montes felt that he'd conceded a corner with a glancing header, the referee felt that the advances of Adam Klosek were too physical and has given a free kick to the Mexicans. Well, as for Mexico, their best result has been 2 quarter-finals at both of their previous home global competitions in 1970 and 1986, losing to Italy and West Germany respectively at that quarter-final stage. So if history bodes well for them, and if they go by history books, they're in for one hell of a cup run on their home soil, the Mexicans. That's a neat ball to find Louis Romo between the lines as he drives into Czech Republic territory. Just couldn't find a teammate on the edge of the penalty area as he fizzed it into the feet of Gilberto Mora. But Mora couldn't take it into his stride in the end. He could only poke it behind for a goal kick from the edge of the box. Mora, his first start, got 30 minutes against South Africa on opening night. Gilberto Mora. This, though, in on the starting 11 in a Mexican side that sees 5 changes. As we expected, they're home and hosed in the round of 32, albeit top of the division, albeit for an unlikely 4-goal swing from South Korea between now and their game against South Africa. Here come the Czechs again. Plenty of joy down the flanks, this time coming down the left-hand side with Lucas Čech as he works his way towards the byline. He's dispossessed though, he stayed down. Referee sees no problem with the challenge that came in from Jorge Sanchez as he won the ball competently. The ball is back with Krejčí. Now on the centre circle is Mikel Sadalik. And he works it out to this near side, the right, just inside Mexican territory for Tomáš Holeš. But he's popped the ball out of play so that Lucas Čech can receive some treatment as he's felt the effect of the challenge that came in from Jorge Sanchez. So of course Bosnia booking themselves in the round of 32 earlier. Scotland being given it all to do by Brazil with a 3-0 thumping. And so their fate very much lies in the hands of other teams around them in that third place table. So as is custom now in this global competition, we've got about 5 minutes to go into the hydration break, but some players taking the opportunity now for the pause in play to get some fluids on board and take on some advice and instruction from their coaching staff. But the referee quickly sees an end to that as he calls the players back to the field, and we can continue. As we just see the table in front of us, as it stands, Mexico on 7 points, the Czech Republic on 2 in third, with South Korea in second on 4 points. This is Hranac. Holeš, hurried by Julián Quiñones, goes back to his goalkeeper Mati Kovar, who of course was something of a hero in the qualification stages in the playoffs. His impressive penalty shootout saves against the Republic of Ireland and heroics against Denmark as well, booking the Czech Republic's place here for the first time in 20 years in this global tournament. Unable though to repeat those heroics when South Africa converted their late penalty to force the issue for the Czech Republic here this evening. 20 minutes gone, 0-0 between Czechia and Mexico in Mexico City. And the Czechs have more than held their own. They've had the two best chances of the game, courtesy of Denis Vyšinský, who's looked nice and lively up there alongside Adam Klosek. Klosek, of course, of Hoffenheim. Brought to Germany by Bayer Leverkusen, who gambled on him after 76 goal contributions in 132 appearances for Sparta Prague. Of course, now playing his football with teammates Vladimir Koufal and Robin Hranac. As Guillermo Martinez is just hauled to the floor by the aforementioned Hranac, a big sizable centre-half who started all 3 group games for the Czechs. One of only 3 players to do so in the Czech 11. So a free kick for Mexico. It's in a crossing position from deep. It looks like Roberto Alvarado is going to take point over this. It's going to be a left-footed delivery towards the edge of the penalty area. Czech head got there first, and it's headed out of play on that far side for a Mexican throw-in. So the Czechia just organising things, but the referee has told the Mexicans to halt, as we're going to have a hydration break, as has become customary and the subject of much debate at this World Cup in the States, Mexico and Canada, at this global competition in the States, Mexico and Canada. So 0-0. It's unsurprising. Mexico and the Czech Republic, 2 teams renowned for their defensive stability. Mexicans primarily, they've only conceded 1 goal in their last 5 internationals and 6 in their last 16 international contests. They haven't conceded in the first half of any of their last 13 global tournament games since a 3-1 loss to Argentina back in 2010, and they have won their last 3 global competition games, their longest streak on the world stage. Of course, having the chance to win 4 on the bounce today and round off what has been a group stage of real authority for one of the three hosts. Well, Czechia, their previous best, a quarter-final in Italia 90, losing to West Germany. Plenty of tournament success between these two sides without lifting the trophy itself, Czechia and Mexico. And of course this game has much more jeopardy in it for the European side, Czechia. So as the hydration break continues, we see conversation between Ladislav Krejčí and his centre-half partner Robin Haranac, and the Mexicans also receiving some intense instruction from their coaching staff. And Raul Rengel has just been taken to one side by what I presume is the goalkeeping coach. He's only the second Mexican goalkeeper to keep clean sheets in his first two global tournament games, after Guillermo Ochoa did it back in 2014, when of course the Mexican goalkeeper stole the show in Brazil. So Mexico haven't really been at the races so far in these opening 25 minutes. As expected, it's certainly a second string side, if you like, with their presence in the round of 32 already confirmed with that win over South Korea. As we just see Julián Quiñones in our pictures receiving some instruction from the coaching staff. 33 goals in 31 games in the Saudi Pro League this season. Of course, has topped it off with the opening goal of this global tournament against South Africa after defensive mishap from the South African side. He refused to call up for Colombia, Julián Quiñones, which is his birthplace, saying it was too little too late from the other side in South America. So hydration break over, and Mexico will resume 25 minutes in with a throw-in on the far side. It's going to be taken by Jorge Sanchez, and he's just looking for some movement ahead of him. The movement provided by Alvarado, who flicks it back to Sanchez. Low ball into the penalty area, steered away by Krejčí, only as far as Pavel Šulc. Šulc looking to find his teammate Klosek. It's all very congested up to the halfway line for Czechia. They can't find an out ball to the strikers, so it's turned over by Mexico on the halfway line. This is Mora, who can look to spin away. Into the feed it goes for Martinez. Looks for the return ball towards Mora. That's cut out though by a surveying Lucas Cherv. He goes down under the challenge of Guillermo Martinez in his attempts to win the ball back. And it's going to be a free kick for Czechia, who have certainly made this into a bit of a war of attrition so far. It's precious few notable chances to talk about, most notably though for Denis Besinski after 7 minutes. He steered his effort wide from 12 yards out. That goes down though as the only clear-cut chance of the contest so far. It's a neat flick in towards Klosek though, and the run has been continued down the left-hand side for Czechia as they work their way into the penalty area, into a shooting position. In the end, it was David Dudira who was combining with Adam Klosek. Couldn't quite get his shot away after a few roulettes in the penalty area, and the Mexicans just had enough white shirts back there to snuffle the effort and see it back to their goalkeeper, Raul Rengel. In the navy blue strip inside his penalty area on this pivotal day in the global competition for Czechia. The equation's pretty simple for them. Lose and their international competition journey for the first time in 20 years ends here. Plenty of time to go yet, and it's certainly been Czechia asking all the questions from an attacking standpoint. Cesar Montes on the ball, the number 3 for Mexico, wide on the right-hand side. Into the feet it goes for Luis Romo. He's looking to score in back-to-back games after scoring the winner against South Korea in what was a contest that won't really be remembered in the memory of this competition. Didn't have too many clear-cut chances, and the goal coming from a goalkeeping error all but summed up of that contest. Mexico bringing the game to a walking pace on the halfway line. Into the feet it goes for Gilberto Mora, who runs deep to receive the ball and then looks round the corner for the feet of Romo, who wasn't expecting it. So the Czechs can turn over the ball, and then Krejčí asks too much of Dudera down the left-hand side. The ball has only found its way out of play. It's going to be a Mexico throw-in. Not much in the name of quality so far, but certainly plenty of endeavour and industry from both sides. Of course, it's Czechia with the ball in their court, with the impetus and the dangling carrot, if you like. Mexico just need to get through unscathed and with as many bodies fit as possible for the round of 32. Well, Quiñones felt that hit the referee as he struggled to release it towards a teammate, and I'll be inclined to agree with him, but play goes on, and Sulch has won a throw-in on this near side, the right, the Leon man for Czechia, who won the Czechia Player of the Year award last year, 2025, and is expected to have something of a big move from Leon this summer. He'll be desperate to continue in this competition to put himself right in the shot window. Right, here we go, another throw-in for the Czech Republic in advanced territory. They've scored, both of their goals have come from throw-in situations in this competition so far. Kufal goes short with this one, gets it back from Dudera, and then Dudera will cross, but it's long, it's hard, it's off target, and it's harmlessly behind for a Mexico goal kick, and it's a disappointing end to a promising attack for Czechia. And David Dudera puts up a hand of apology to his teammates who have made the venture forward from defence to join him. And Mexico are going to look to play their way out of danger from inside their own penalty area. They've lost it though. It's picked up by Hush, who actually in field. This is Krejčí into the feet of Klosek. Looks to spin away from Cesar Montes. Can't do so. It's a good turn of pace from the Mexican centre half. And then Mexico look to counter down the other end. The long ball looking for the run of Julián Quiñones. Too far in front of him. It's easily gathered by Mati Kovar. Well, there's been plenty of action so far, not much of it in the name of goal scoring. Well, 14 of the 50 games so far have ended in draws in this global competition. 4 of them have been 0-0. This one, though, locked in deadlock at the moment. The most recent, of course, England and Ghana, unable to separate themselves from each other. Krejčí receives the ball on halfway for the Czech Republic. Out it goes towards the left-hand side for Wyszynski, tournament debutant. No way past Sanchez, who went to ground and won the ball cleanly, but the Czechs have it back in the midfield. Tomáš Holeš. 4 league titles for Slavia Prague for Tomáš Holeš, the most recent of which of them as captain. Here he is again on the right-hand side, crossing position for the man with the bleach blonde hair. Rolls it back to Kufal instead. Here's Sulch, corner of the penalty area, right-hand side. Kufal will swing it in. Keeper thought about coming, stayed at home, and luckily for him, Klosek just couldn't stretch to meet it, and it bounces harmlessly out of play on that far side for a Mexico throw-in, just shy of the corner flag. So 0-0. We've got about 13 minutes to go until half-time. And I'm sure the man on our monitors now, Miroslav Kubek, will be very impressed and satisfied with what he's seen so far. Of course, the pressure is on the Czechs to force the issue. Mexicans happy to sit back and play on the break as they are doing now. This is Mateo Garcia. Quiñones on his bike ahead of him. Foot race with Tomáš Holeš. 2 players with plenty of pace and power. It's Holeš who wins that foot race and in the end wins the goal kick as well, off of Julián Quiñones. Great strength and pace shown by the right centre half for the Czechs. Well, this is the first time these two have met in this global competition since 1962 in the group stage, when then Czechoslovakia went all the way before being beaten in the final against Brazil. And of course, Mexico's qualification to the round of 32 means that they've now qualified for 8 of their last 9 tournaments towards the knockout stages. This, though, to get to the group stage for Mexico, they qualified for the last 10 World Cups in a row. So certainly impressing on the global stage of the Mexicans. And here comes Mora looking to impress some more down the right-hand side. Alvarez out towards Alvarado. Left-footed ball into the penalty area, too close to the goalkeeper, who can make the claim in his near post, Mati Kovar. And a groan of frustration by Roberto Alvarado, who grew up on street football in Mexico and has been said to never have lost those instincts. This is his second global tournament, another one who started all 3 games for the Mexicans in this group stage. They'll be desperate to make it 3 wins from 3 and really put their stamp of authority on their home tournament, Mexico. So far, though, no real clear-cut chances for Javier Alegria's side. This is Cesar Montes looking to change that as he carries the ball up to the halfway line. It's been a very cagey affair so far. Precious little to speak about in the name of goal-scoring opportunities, but Reyes has been charged down by some good hunting from Sulch, and here comes the Czech Republic looking to make the most of it. Soufal down the right-hand side. Sulch is the option in field. It rolls through his legs towards the edge of the penalty area, but it's cut out by the Mexicans at the back. Enough bodies back there to deal with it, and then Gilberto Mora can come away with it. The slight centre midfielder for Mexico just rides one challenge and then rolls it back to his own defensive line. 0-0, 10 minutes to go until half-time. Roberto Alvarado carrying the ball down the right-hand side with purpose. He's got Sanchez beyond him, and he's got Alvarez behind him. He opts for Alvarez, the Mexican captain, this afternoon. Israel Reyes. Alvarado helps it on to Sanchez. Tight to the right-hand touchline, midway inside Czech territory. Back it goes infield to Alvarado. Whips it further infield towards the centre for Romo. He's pressured by red Czech bodies, but pressured too harshly, deems the referee. Lucas Cherv's advances were too physical for his liking. He awards the free kick about 40 yards from goal, dead centre for Mexico. 0-0. Actually, matter of fact, it's just left of centre for the Mexicans. And Roberto Alvarado has taken charge over this, with Mati Kovar just directing traffic in his wall as he covers what would be an audacious attempt from that sort of range for Roberto Alvarado. But we've seen more outrageous things at this international tournament so far. Alvarado certainly shaped across this from deep, left-footed angled ball to the far side of the penalty area. It is just left of centre. It does suit a left footer. It's going to be arced in by Alvarado. Headed away by the Czechs. Bicycle kick comes in from Reyes from the edge of the penalty area. Audacious, and he wasn't too far from putting it off, Israel Reyes. In the end, though, he's about 2 or 3 yards wide of Kovar's right-hand post. The audacity to take it on and the execution to almost put it off from the centre half. Reyes, of course, very versatile centre-back, is a term I use loosely. He can also play full-back, of course, just as competently, but he's been deployed as a centre half here in Mexico City this afternoon. Huish, back it goes towards Kovar, the light blue goalkeeping strip. We've got about 8 minutes plus stoppages to go until half-time. And Krejčí can send it over to this near side for Tomáš Huiš in the right-back position for Czechia. He'll send it up towards the big striker Klosek, who can only see the ball bounce off him and fall at the feet of the Mexican Quiñones. And he rolls it back to Cesar Montes. This is Alvarez on the centre circle. Charging forward now Sanchez, over halfway. Alvarado, short pass to him as he drives in field. Midway inside Czech territory. Gilberto Mora looking for an opening. It's a robust and tight 2 solid lines of 4 red shirts back there for the Czech Republic. Difficult to navigate through for the Mexicans, and they have to be solid, the Czech Republic. The thing of nightmares would be them to concede first, considering the pressures on this game and what is at stake for the Czechs. This is Garcia on the left-hand side, taking on Kufal, just shy on the edge of the penalty area. Quiñones, out of his feet, edge of the box, rolls it across to Sanchez. This is Mora, shoots from the angle, parried away by Mati Kovar, and then helped to safety by the Czech Republic back line. Living dangerously though, Mexican just looking to go through the gears on Mexico. And just looking to turn the screw towards the end of the first half. Yes, good 1-2, and the effort's fluffed by Roberto Alvarado, who found himself with time and space on the right-hand side of the penalty area after good interplay between him and Mora. Just fluffed his lines, Roberto Alvarado. And everyone from a Czech point of view will be very relieved to see that balloon off his left boot and over the crossbar. You just see the effort coming from Sanchez, which stung the palms of Mati Kovar. So 0-0, 5 minutes to go until half-time. And the Czechs, I'm sure, for all intents and purposes, will probably see that as job done as far as the first half is concerned. They really do need to push on and get the opener here, the Czech Republic, and then turn the tide in this global competition and turn the theme of not being able to hold the lead once they've got it. No side have lost more global tournament games after going 1-0 up than Czechia, a total of 8, including their opening day defeat against South Korea. So that's the prospect that lies in store for the Czechs if they do get their noses in front. They'll have to overturn the history books to keep it that way and keep themselves alive in this global tournament. The ball at the feet of the Mexican goalkeeper, Raul Rangel, hasn't really been tested. That can be said the same for Mati Kovar. 2 routine saves, really, in this opening 40 minutes. The best chance of the game, though, has still had to go down as Denis Vysinski for the Czechs, as he just steered wide from 12 yards in the early exchanges. All the Czechs be made to rue that missed opportunity come the full-time whistle. Ball at the feet of Rangel again. 2 clean sheets for him, 2 clean sheets for Mexico. Only they in Spain hold that honour at this global competition so far. The Czechs need to buck that trend if they're to stay in this global competition and stand any chance of progression to the round of 32, as Quiñones has gone down after a promising Mexican breaks down. He doesn't get a decision, but Adam Klosek will, as he then goes down just over halfway under pressure from Cesar Montes. And you can imagine the questions from the Mexicans now. Why wasn't a free kick given to Julián Quiñones, but a free kick given to Adam Klosek for a very similar challenge? That's the question being posed by the captain, Edson Alvarez, and many other Mexicans in their white strips. But it's going to be a Czech Republic free kick just over halfway left of centre. Plenty to aim for. Robin Hranac has made his way up from the back. Adam Klosek, of course, a big unit to aim for as well. So Sadalik sweeps it to the right-hand side of the penalty area. Free header away is a Mexican one. Sulch picks up, rolls it back to the free kick taker, Sadalik, who's the furthest man back on the halfway line for the Czech Republic. Plenty have stayed forward for this second phase, but it won't happen because the ball is off target from Sadalik towards Kufal, and Strada playing a hand of apology from the Slavia Prague man towards his teammate. As Garcia's throwing from left back finds Martinez. The free kick, though, has gone Czech Republic's way as a flailing arm just caught Thomas Hulish on the jaw. And Guillermo Martinez, the most dumbfounded man in the stadium as to how he's been penalised for that. It was pretty soft, and then we see a shot of Javier Ogria having a laugh at the fourth official. I'm sure born out of sarcasm more than anything else as to how the decision has gone against his team, but I'm sure it's been born out of frustration. His team haven't had much joy in front of goal in the opening 43 minutes here in Mexico City in front of an expectant home crowd at this capital stadium. So free kick for Czechia from the right hand side. It suits a right-footed in-swinger. Kufal standing over it with Mikhail Sadalik, who's put his left foot forward if Czechia require it. It will be Kufal to deliver, right foot into the penalty area, headed away by Mexico. Grinder control by Dudera, who will try his luck from distance, but he's off target from about 40-45 yards. It was audacious, to say the least, for the tournament debutant, and then he holds off a bit of a sheepish apology to his teammates after his effort balloons into the Mexico City crowd for those that had stayed forward from the free kick. So 0-0, a minute of normal time to go until we see how much stoppages are going to be added on. And Raul Rengel is going to get us back underway from this Mexico goal kick. Up it goes towards Quiñones. He can flick on. It's back with Quiñones, the left winger, but in steps Thomas Hulish to break up that attack. He can roll it back to Mati Kovar, and he can clear his lines up the Czechia right-hand side. Kufal hoists up field. It was a confident header back there, had to be, by Cesar Montes to reach his goalkeeper Raul Rengel with Klosek in close proximity. Meanwhile, though, a Czech man has remained down on the field after a coming together in that most recent defensive flurry, and looks to be Mikhail Sadalik, who's remained down in front of his own bench. It was a bit of a nasty one from Louis Romo on the replay. A knee right into the back of the hamstring. Painful one for Sadalik to run off. He's going to have to leave the field of play after receiving treatment. So we're going to have 4 minutes of additional time at the end of the first 45. Largely, as has been courtesy in this tournament, due to the hydration break and the time added on for that. And the clock continues to run through that hydration break. So here's Edson Alvarez, opening minute of stoppage time at the end of the first half. The first half hasn't gleaned many clear-cut opportunities. You'd still say Denis Wyszynski has come the closest of either side as he steered an effort wide from 12 yards out in the early exchanges. Mati Kovar's palms have been stung on a couple of occasions by Mexican strikes, but nothing clear-cut for the home side. I say home side, they're the away side as the fixture reads, but very much the home side in Mexico City. Here they come again with Sanchez. Mora floats the ball into the penalty area, too close to the Czech goalkeeper, though, who can make that his. I have to say that the Czech Republic defending has been admirable, and they've limited Mexico to precious little in and around the penalty area, as it's the Czechs who do the attacking this time. Long ball through, but it's too far in front of Pavel Schulk, and he'll see it bounce through to Raul Rengel. This is Romo. Infield to Alvarado, just over halfway, dead centre. Quiñones. Plenty forward in this Mexican attack. They want to get their noses in front before half-time. That's clear to see. Clipped over towards Sanchez, right-hand side. He'll cross from deep towards the edge of the penalty area. Flicked away by Czechia. Sulch can't hold it. Mexico win it back on halfway. 2 minutes to go of the 4 added on at the end of the first half. Into the feet of Martinez. First time out towards this near side for Garcia. It's got Quiñones with him. Here is Quiñones. Tries luck from distance. That was hit with venom. And it just whistles over the crossbar by a matter of inches by Julián Quiñones. And the best part of 25 yards from the angle. Mati Kovar was confident it was heading over. But it was hit with plenty of venom. Plenty behind it from the man in the Saudi Pro League. Looking to add to his 10 goals in 12 appearances for club and country. Quiñones. The ball at his feet now in the centre circle. He's won Mexico a free kick after being held by Thomas Hulsch. This is Montes at the back for Mexico. Reyes out towards this near side for Quiñones. He's dispossessed by Thomas Hulsch, who I have to say has stood his ground splendidly in this first half. Thomas Hulsch. He's been solid. He's been aggressive when needed. And he's even joined the odd attack as well. And been a threat going forward. Krejčí. Long sweeping diagonal looking for Kufal. Is overhit. And it's going to be a throw-in for Mexico in their left-back position. Quiñones inside his own half. Rolls it back to Montes. This is Alvarado. Now Sanchez. Just drifting in field slightly. Mexico's last attack of the half as time ticks away as they go towards the right-hand side, and they won't have time for the final attack. There's the half-time whistle, and you can see frustrated Mexican faces all around as the Czech Republic have come here in this first half and done what they need to do. Stay in the game to stay in this global competition. At half-time, it's Czechia 0, Mexico 0. The best chance has fallen to the Czechs. Denis Vysinski just seeing an effort whistle just wide of the post early on. Meanwhile, Mati Kovar hasn't really been that busy in the Czech Republic net. They'll see this as an overwhelming positive in their quest to stay in the tournament. Czech 0, Mexico 0. This is Haranac. Down the line it goes towards Sulch. And Sulch can stab it forward, but the offside flag is up against the aforementioned Sulch. So it's going to be a free kick for Mexico. They work it across the back line, Mexico. The Czech Republic finished 20th in the old World Cup format, back in the old international tournament format back in 2006 in Germany. And they have just under 40 minutes to retain their status here, as another ball's floated in from the near side through Sanchez. Headed away by Czechia. Back it comes through Alvarado. Alvarado looking to measure up Dudira one-on-one. Back it goes to Romo. And now Montez, just over halfway, dead centre. That's a neat ball. Romo's in down the right-hand side. The angle's tight. He squares it back across the 6-yard box. And back there is the Czechia back line. Vladimir Kufal alert to the danger to head away, but it was the first time that Mexico have really opened up the Czechia back line with an incisive ball through, but here they come again. Romo combining with Mora, edge of the penalty area. He's held up, can't hold it, and then Czechia look to clear, and it's Lucas Cherv who's fouled as he looked to do that. That's going to be a free kick for Czechia, just to alleviate some Mexican danger, because it's the Mexicans who have been on top for the past 2 minutes or so. It's an incisive ball by Mora on the replay to find Romo, forced him slightly wide on the right-hand side of the box, which meant he had to cross it back across the 6-yard box. There was a smart header away in there by Kufal. So Mexico with plenty more attacking endeavour and asking a lot more questions than they did in the first half. Here comes charging David Dudira, and he charges straight into Edson Alvarez. And he's body checked by the Mexican captain. It's going to be a free kick for Czechia. And just some choice words shared by Alvarez and Dudira, the man who ran into him. It's all hugs and cuddles afterwards. So free kick about 45 yards out, left of centre. Suits a left-footed swinger, this one. It's going to be Sadlik and Kufal standing over it for the Czechs. Left-footed delivery from Sadlik is a decent one. First contact, Czech Republic, as they head it back across the 6-yard box. Not dealt with by Mexico, and the Czech Republic win the first corner of the game. We've played 52 minutes and it's the first corner of the contest. There's a wicked delivery in. Krejčí wins the header back across the 6-yard box, and then Mexico regather in time to prevent the second ball coming in at the expense of a corner. Sadlik across to take this left-hand side. Plenty still up from the free kick. Left-footed delivery for the Czech Republic. Goes all the way through. Kufal will collect the right-hand side. Kufal rolls it back to Dudira. charged down by Quiñones, but the Czech Republic still have it back, measured down the right-hand side for the Czechs, and then steered into the penalty area. Krejčí was interested, fired in from the edge of the box towards goal. That's blocked. It was Lucas Chev with the effort from the edge of the penalty area. Mexico, though, with enough shirts on the edge of the box to block it. And then Mexico looking to counter-attack, and Romo has smuggled it into the path of Garcia, who goes barreling through and finishes off for Mexico and puts the Mexicans ahead. Well, it's a goal all of his own making by the international tournament debutant Mateo Garcia. It was a counter-attacking move from a Czech Republic corner, the ultimate sucker punch for the Czechs to suffer. Heartbreak for the Czech Republic. They have a mountain to climb now, but Mexico strike first on their home turf in their home tournament. They are a force to be reckoned with, that's for sure. Well, it looked like the Czechs had done enough in the centre circle to just stifle the counter-attack, but it was prodded out to Garcia, who rode the challenge on the edge of the box and finished with so much composure. Garcia Chavez on his international tournament debut. It's a night to remember for the youngster as he puts his country 1-0 up as they look to make it a clean sweep in the group. As for Czechia, a long way back for them now. They trail by a 0-0, and it's Mexico who draw first blood, and Wyszynski is going to make way for Provod in response. Well, the first goal was always going to be vital in this one, where the onus is on Mexico. Onus is on the Czechs to make inroads, but it's Mexico, the team, who have impressed in this tournament with their defensive rigidness, their solidity, and then their aggression going forward. And it's defence to attack in a heartbeat from the Czech Republic corner. Out broke Mateo Garcia Chavez, and he finished with the composure of a Mexican journeyman. What a night for the young man. So Lucas Provod is on for the Czechs. Experienced Slavia Prague man. But in comes a Mexican free kick that is easily dealt with by the Czech as they watch it behind. But Lucas Provod scored the opener of the European tournament in 2024 against Portugal. A really imposing presence. He did start the last game against South Africa, and he's on for the remaining half an hour plus of this one. Still nothing to separate South Korea and South Africa in the other game in this group. And you feel this game is going to just explode into life because the Czechs really need to come out and play now. The 1 point in the third place group will not be enough to progress for the Czechs. Sulch is dispossessed on this near side. He's won it back though, and it's good work rate to atone for his error. Haranach out towards Kufa. This is Krejčí, the captain for the Czech Republic, looking to inspire something of a comeback to retain their places at this international tournament. Krejčí into the feet of the big man up top, Klosek. He's lost it though, he can't hold it. Alvarez comes away with it, the Mexican captain. Mexico can't link things together though. It's straight to the feet of Dudera, who moves to intercept on this left-hand side, but he's given the ball away straight to Martinez. Scrap now with Sadlik is all right, all battle out there now. Czechia having to fight for every ball. The Mexicans, exactly the position they wanted to be in. Draw first blood and then draw Czechia out and open the spaces in behind, because Czechia need to come out and play now with their international tournament lives at stake. It's Mexico lead by a goal to nil. Mateo Chavez Garcia with a night to remember, as he broke away from the Czechia corner and had all the composure to run half the length of this also famous pitch and finish competently beyond Mati Kovar to put Czechia in a whole world of trouble. As for Mexico, it could be a clean sweep in this group and their home tournament, which is exactly what they need going into the round of 32. But Israel Reyes, after making a challenge on Provod, can't keep the ball in play, so it's going to be a Czechia throw-in. And Kufal is going to try and cause some chaos with it, but instead he goes short to Aranach, back to Kufal, edge of the penalty area for Sadlik, who will try his luck from distance. It strikes Alvarez, who charged down to meet it. Alvarez gets back to his feet, albeit a little dazed. It's back with Kufal, who's swinging in from deep from the right-hand side. That's dealt with again by Mexico at the back, and these are the spaces that I'm talking about, because Gilberto Mora has been able to pick up the ball on the halfway line without a Czechia shirt within 10 yards of him. They're recovering now. He slotted it through to Sanchez, though. Out came the goalkeeper. Czechia have made a mess of clearing it, and Quiñones is on hand to fire it home and fire Mexico into a quick-fire 2-goal lead and break Czechia hearts in the process. Well, we said the game was going to open up after the opening goal from Mexico, and that it has. Gilberto Mora picked the ball up on halfway. He was able to turn and drive. Great ball to find Sanchez, the marauding fullback. His effort was blocked. There was confusion at the back from the Czechia back line, who couldn't clear their lines. And Julián Quiñones didn't need a second invitation to score his second of the tournament, Mexico's second of the night, and just may have put this and this tournament out of reach of the Czech Republic. Czechia 0, Mexico 2. It's the jab and perhaps the knockout punch in the space of 5 minutes from Mexico. He's been in some goal-scoring form, Quiñones. That's 11 goals now in 12 appearances for club and country after 33 goals in 31 games in the Saudi Pro League. So it's Martinez and Luis Romo are going to make way here for Mexico, and we're just going to bring on some fresh legs. First of which will be the AC Milan forward Santiago Quiñones, and he will be joined off the bench by, get your pen and paper out, the Atletico Madrid star Obed Vargas. So Vargas and Quiñones is on. Martinez and the Romo are off. And Mexico in a very commanding position, and in the space of just over 5 minutes, Czechia's tournament lives has been flipped on a dime, as Klosek is caught late by Edson Alvarez, who receives the first yellow card of the evening for a late lunge on the big Czech. In the space of 5 minutes, Czechia have gone from surviving to heading out of the international tournament. And they'll be so disappointed in the nature of which they've conceded the 2 goals as well, I'm sure. 1 breakaway and 1 defensive mishap. Czechia are going to make some changes as well. Adam Klosek, his last action was being cleared out by Edson Alvarez, and Thomas Hulish is going to make way as well. Thomas Souček is going to come on, as is Patrick Schick. So a different attacking option and some stability in centre midfield as well. Another one whose future is a bit up in the air, Thomas Souček, after West Ham's relegation. Hasn't started the last 2 games, Thomas Souček. A few eyebrows raised in Czech media as to why such a commanding presence on the pitch for this Czech Republic side. But he's on, as is Patrick Schick, as the Czech Republic need to find an answer to those quick-fire Mexico goals. In it goes from Kufal. Is it kept alive at the far post by Schulk? No, it's out for a goal kick. The disturbing statistic for the Czech Republic is that Mexico have only conceded 1 goal in the last 5 internationals. And when they go ahead, Mexico, they very rarely let that lead slip. Oh, what's happened here? We've got a corner because the goalkeeper, I think, hung onto the ball too long. So the referees awarded a corner. You don't see that very often. Can the Czechs take full advantage? In comes that corner kick, headed away at the front post by Mexico. All the way to the halfway line. 25 minutes to go here in Mexico City. Mexico lead by 2-0, courtesy of Mateo Garcia's first goal out of a major tournament. And then that was capitalised upon by Julián Quiñones only a matter of minutes later. South Africa have taken a lead against South Korea. That puts the cat amongst the pigeons in Group A. Floated in by the Czechs. Oh, it was just taken away by Patrick Schick by a rising Cesar Montes, and behind for a Czech corner. They're knocking on the door though, the Czech Republic. It's a good response, certainly, to those quick fire goals. This will be another Czech corner. Sedlik delivers, plenty up in red shirts. Flicked away though at the back for Mexico. It's retrieved on the far side by Chev. Kufal looks to combine with Provod. He may have asked too much of him, but Provod has kept that in play and then just gives a glare towards Vladimir Kufal for making him work so hard. But Czech Republic profit with the corner kick. They're certainly knocking on the door, the Czechs. Swung in, right-footed towards those hoisters' red shirts. They're headed out only as far as Dudera, who sent an effort high over the crossbar for the Czech Republic. Can't keep it down. And we're going to have a hydration break. So, that goal for South Africa really puts the cat amongst the pigeons, because it would mean that South Africa leapfrog South Korea into second and will go through automatically to the knockout stages with Mexico. South Africa, who for all intents and purposes on the opening night looked a basket case of a team against Mexico, somehow are 20 minutes away from reaching the round of 32 of this international tournament. But of course, as there is here, still 20 minutes to go in the game between South Africa and South Korea in Monterrey. It's Fapelo Moseko who's given them the lead, the South Africans. But here, 2 quick-fire goals for Mexico in the space of just over 5 minutes. sees the Czech Republic's international tournament status in real jeopardy. So this hydration break, a real chance for the likes of Miroslav Kubek to get across what he expects from his team for the final 20 minutes. You really feel it's going to be caution to the wind at this point, because their World Cup lives, international tournament lives, are at stake. And at this rate, with South Africa winning, they don't even hold any hope onto a third place qualification. They'll go straight out as one of the 12 teams to finish bottom of the groups. So it's how quickly things can change in this format, and it's one of the real appealing factors of it. So yeah, in the space of 10 second half minutes, both here and in Monterrey, absolutely everything has changed in Group A. I was just having a look at the second goal from the referee's view. Falcon Perez, it really was a mess at the back for the Czechs. They've only got themselves to blame for the second goal. The ricochets here, ricochets there, couldn't clear their lines, and Quiñones didn't need a second invitation to capitalise. And the first goal is just a swift breakaway and an accomplished finish by Mateo Garcia to see Mexico possibly on their way to a clean sweep in the group. And if they can do it without conceding a goal as well, if Czechia can't lay a glove on them, it would be an almighty achievement, an almighty statement in this international tournament from the Czechs. But they've got 20 minutes to change their destiny, Czechia. As I just see Mikel Sadalik have a glance at the clock, he's thinking the same thing. There's a point where the handbrake's going to come off for Czechia, and with them sitting rock bottom of the group, you feel that time is now. Czechia 0, Mexico 2. Group A completely flipping on its head in 6 second half minutes, both here and in Monterrey, where South Africa leads South Korea by a goal to 0 to move into the automatic qualification places. Fired forward by the Mexican goalkeeper out towards that far side, the left. Mexico are just happy to let lost causes be exactly that, and they're going to make another change. Our Mexico, it's going to be the little playmaker Gilberto Mora, who certainly inspired Mexico into this 2-goal lead. He's going to be replaced by Alvaro Fidalgo, who started the first game against South Africa, didn't get on against South Korea. He's going to get the best part of 20 minutes or so here in Mexico City. Here comes Czechia though. Hold-up play is made by Patrick Schick, and then he rolls it out to this near side for Dudera. Provot out towards the far side for Kufal, who's standing up into the middle. Here comes the cross, headed away by Montes. A good glance by the tall Mexican centre half. Dudera has it back. Sidikic. His cross is blocked at source by Sanchez. Teasing ball forward goes in by Dudera, just looking for the two strikers, but he can only find Cesar Montes, who clears the ball straight out for a throw on his near side. Provot. Scooped forward by Dudera, who expected a bit more movement from his strikers, and looks away in frustration as his attempted creative ball only goes behind for a goal kick. As we just see Mexican goalkeeping hero Guillermo Ochoa warming up. Perhaps there's going to be a cameo for him. There doesn't seem to be a problem with Raul Rengel, and you'd feel it would be a little remiss of the Mexican coaching staff to deny Raul Rengel a third clean sheet on the bounce in the group stage, if that's to be the case. But it's him with the ball at his feet as he rolls it to his left-hand side, and Israel Reyes puts his boot through it downfield. Sanchez looks to bring it under control, can't do so under pressure from Pavel Šulc, and it's going to be a Czech throw-in in their left-back position. Just over 15 minutes to go for the Czech Republic to retain their international tournament status. Otherwise, they're going out with a bit of a whimper. 2 goals scored. 2 leads unable to be held. And here, Mexico in their 6-minute blitz may have just taken the game away from the Czech Republic, but Provod has done very well to win a corner down the other end off of Mateo Garcia, the scorer of the first goal. What looked like a lost cause. With Provod on the deck, he just hit it against the shin of the young fullback, and it's going to be behind for a corner kick. So the Czech Republic really have to make the most of one of these set pieces, you feel. Left-footed delivery from the far side. 3 headers away by Cesar Montes for Mexico. Kufar retrieves the ball, rolls it in field to David Dudera. He will clip it into the penalty area, looking for the run of Provod. Heads get there, and he falls to Šulc. Swung in, left-footed towards the far post. Flicked away by the Mexican backline, who continue to stand firm, and then a free kick's given as Montes hits the deck, and Mexico survive the Czech onslaught for now. Brave defending in there by Montes. He's just seemed to have got his head to absolutely everything tonight, with Thomas Souček waiting to fire behind him as a vital header for the man who missed the South Korea game because he was sent off, of course, against South Africa in the opening chaotic nights of this global competition. Well, this is a turn-up for the books. Guillermo Ochoa, the veteran and goalkeeping hero of Mexico, is going to get a cameo for the final 10 minutes here in Mexico City. Something of a celebrity status as a goalkeeper is a rare thing to see. But for this man, it's more than deserved, you have to say. Over 150 caps for Mexico, making himself world-renowned at the previous international tournaments. Bronze medal as well. And he's going to get an almighty homecoming here. The noise around the Mexico City Stadium, as it's Raul Rengel who's going to be replaced by 40-year-old Guillermo Ochoa. And to be fair, this is a nice touch from Javier Orgria, ensuring that the 40-year-old will get yet another World Cup under his belt after revealing that he is to retire from professional football after the conclusion of this international tournament. In his 6th international tournament, Ochoa, and he's also joined the pitch by Golado from the bench for Mexico, as they just look to see out what would be a clean sweep in Group A and a real statement to the rest of the tournament teams. South Africa continue to lead South Korea by a 1-0. That's all happening below Mexico. Here though, Mexico 2, the Czech Republic 0. And we really feel it's getting towards rabbit out of the hat time for the Czechs. As Mexico win yet another corner, Quiñones still has plenty of energy in that tank as he just forces the issue, a long ball over the top. This has to be turned behind by Sedlic. So yeah, Jesus Gelado also joining Showa on the pitch for Mexico as we await this most recent corner. Left-footed delivery, it's a decent one, headed away by the Czechs, then further clear by Provod. Knocked back to the halfway line. Schulk in full pelt chase for the Czech Republic. We've got just over 10 minutes plus stoppages to go as Ajoa puts his foot through it downfield. Quiñones looking to spin away for Mexico, but it's all the way through for the goalkeeper, Mati Kufal in the left-back position for the Czech Republic. Into the feet of Chev. This is Dudera, who's just shifted across to that far side with Kufal coming near side for a change of tact and hopefully a change of outcome, because at the moment the Czechs are heading out. Provod charges down the left-hand side, looks for it back from Schulk, but that's cut out by good defensive work from Roberto Alvarado. And then just as Mexico were mounting a counter-attack, it's picked up by David Dudera, who fires towards goal, but it's well off target in the end by the fullback, and Ochoa awaits his first save of his 6th international tournament. Yeah, he really came into his own during, I think it was 2018 or 2014, those international tournaments. Ochoa. Which only removed to Malaga. Hopefully, from a Mexican point of view, he won't have too much to do in these final exchanges. As Edson Alvarez feels the full force of the Titan Patrick Schick. He goes down and runs away with a bit of a limp, but is okay to carry on. So Mexico leading by 2-0 and cruising towards the round of 32. As for the Czechs, it's a whole world of trouble for them. Just feel that late penalty, that controversial handball. It was very soft against Pavel Schulk. There's been the difference between them finishing bottom and finishing third, and being in with a chance of potential qualification for the Czechs. Yeah, though they still have 8 minutes plus stoppages to do something about that. Sadly, plenty forward for him to aim for from this free kick after Provox was fouled. So on the left-hand side, it's going to be an in-swing with his left foot. It's a decent delivery, plenty up there in red. It's bounced all the way through, and an acrobatic clearance from Julián Quiñones prevents any more chaos occurring in the penalty area for Mexico. This is Provox. Clips to the edge of the box, helped away by the Mexicans, and then Quiñones can look to release Guimaraes. Kufal, though, shows all sorts of composure to juggle the ball away from the AC Milan forward. And then Czechia can just look to play out from the back. It's well left down the left-hand side, and Schulk can latch onto it and burst forward. He's been doubled up upon by the Mexican back line, and it's Jorge Sanchez who can get a toe in and dispossess the young Leon winger. Another attack breaks down for Czechia. They just haven't had any joy in this second half, really, when Mexico shut up shop and looked to hit them on the break. And you have to say it's a tactic that has borne fruits for the Mexicans, and will certainly send this majority home crowd home happy at present. They lead by 2-0 in a commanding position with 7 minutes to go, and just Czechia, who are ready a couple of more changes as their international tournament lives extinguish in front of their eyes. Hoisted forward by Mexico, brought down by Quiñones. He can then turn and charge a a lethargic and stretched and weathered Czech back line, but the ball through by Quiñones wasn't on target. It was too heavy, and it's through to the goalkeeper, Mati Kovar. And the referee is just calling some a medical team onto the pitch, because of the Czechia man down after that most recent delivery into the penalty area, and there is real concern here, actually, for Tomáš Souček. Okay, it wasn't a delivery into the penalty area. He's gone to block Ajoa's goal kick, and he's just jarred his left knee, Souček, and it looks like he needs a stretcher. Well, this is a massive blow for a Czechia fan favourite, and more importantly as well for club football wise, a man who of course I'm sure would either be a servant to the cause of West Ham United looking to get back into the English Premier League, or would have been putting himself in the shop window for a move elsewhere following their relegation. But this is going to be a massive setback for Tomáš Souček. It's a really nasty injury. He's just gone to close down the goalkeeper Ochoa, and as he's stuck a right leg out, his left leg is just locked and jarred beneath him, and it's a real painful one to look at. Do you know what? Thankfully, he's back on his feet, Tomáš Souček. He doesn't recover. It doesn't require the stretcher. Nonetheless, Alexander Sojka has been stripped and ready to go. Souček has made his own way off the field, albeit carried by two teammates, and it's a sorry sight for Tomáš Souček, someone who has been very public about his battles with insomnia and depression and other illnesses like that, and this looks like it might well be a long road to recovery for him, and what is a nasty injury. Well, Lucas Cherv makes his way off the field, as well as Tomáš Souček, with a look of slight reservation on his face, reservation to the fact that his side may well be heading out this international tournament. Tomáš Chori is going to come on, as well as Alexander Sojka for the Czechs in one last hurrah, but as I say, it'll be rabbit out the hat stuff at this point. It'll be the story of this competition so far. The Czech Republic are able to grasp onto any hopes of qualification from this position. Their hopes lie now with South Africa and South Korea, but South Africa continue to lead Korea by a 0-0, and as it stands, are occupying that second automatic qualification spot, which is just, it just goes to show that the gamble with this World Cup format, that is international tournament format, that has had the criticism and caused all the dialogue and discourse, it does spit up these brilliant situations and permutations where we're going to